Brothers and sisters, have you ever tried to sit in quiet prayer for an extended period of time, only to find your mind overwhelmed with thoughts and distractions? If you answer yes to this question, I would like you to consider that it is a good sign that you were doing what you needed to do. The important thing is to keep it going and not giving up. Not long ago, a young man came to see me for spiritual guidance. He told me how he struggles to sit in quiet in prayer for any length of time, and it was for this reason that I asked him to spend at least 3 hours a week in 1-hour slots before the Blessed Sacrament. As difficult as this was for him, I believe that the act of him pushing through would be greatly beneficial for his spiritual life. Brothers and sisters, today's Gospel for the beginning of Lent highlights the struggle central to the Christian spiritual life. Let's break it down. Luke tells us, filled with the Holy Spirit, Jesus left the Jordan and was led by the Spirit through the wilderness, being tempted there by the devil for 40 days. In a sense, every day the Holy Spirit is inspiring us to emerge from our everyday lives and go into a wilderness of sorts. Do we respond by blocking the Spirit, or like Jesus, allow ourselves to be filled? The wilderness can be any place apart from all the distractions and attachments of the world. That place may just be a quiet place in our garden, or a spare room that we set aside for prayer, to our local church, or even to a retreat centre for an extended period of prayer and reflection. And having gone to that place under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, we can be sure that Satan or one of his minions will be following close behind to tempt and distract us for the whole duration of our prayer. Having heard today's Gospel reading so many times over the years, we may overlook the fact that Jesus was tempted by Satan for the whole 40 days, not just on the last day. In that time that Jesus went away to prepare in silence for his upcoming ministry, he would have had everything but the kitchen sink thrown at him. We may be lucky enough not to have the same attention from the evil angels that Jesus had, but nevertheless, any time we propose to do something good, and in particular taking time out to pray and ask God for guidance, we will be under attack. Let's continue. Brothers and sisters, the Gospel then goes on to give a detailed account of the 3 final temptations of Jesus in the desert. Interestingly, of these 3 temptations, Satan prefixed 2 of them with the words, "If you are the Son of God." Satan, it seems, was using this title as bait to get Jesus to do what he was tempting him to do. If we think about Jesus' life before his public ministry, nothing particularly out of the ordinary happened. However, from the very moment that the angel Gabriel appeared to Mary and the conception of Jesus in her womb, Satan knew he was special and was putting together a profile of this mysterious character. Satan, in his attempts to determine who Jesus was, would have searched the Old Testament writings up and down. Even during those 40 days in the desert, Satan would have been cataloguing Jesus' responses to all the temptations he threw at him. Then, on the 40th day, in order to finally bring Jesus down, Satan tempts him with the words, "If you are the Son of God." Why am I telling you this, brothers and sisters? It is actually very important. Imagine, it would be a waste of time to tempt a lion to eat strawberries or a chicken to go on an overseas holiday. I'm using extremes to try and get my point across. Satan can only succeed in tempting and attacking us when he has all the appropriate ammunition he needs. He studies each and every one of us to discover our weaknesses, to find the chinks in our armour, to see how we respond to different situations and experiences and people, etc. As he studied Jesus to know the most potent weapons to throw at him, so we are studied so that the temptations and other spiritual weapons thrown at us are the most potent for us individually. If you really want to get that job, you may have to exaggerate your resume. If you really want to win that girl's heart, you may have to raise some money to take her to all the right places. If you really want to win that court case, you may have to find some better witnesses. We can't take back the free ammunition we've already given Satan, but we can work towards closing some of the doors and windows to our vulnerabilities. Brothers and sisters, during this Lenten period, let us all take that time out to go to that quiet place in the wilderness to pray and listen to God. We will have endless thoughts and distractions thrown at us, but knowing this is a good sign, let us push through it. And then, coupled with this prayer, let us also make a commitment to extra good works and fasting during this Lenten period, spiritual weapons with which we can resist Satan and all his attacks. For as the Gospel goes on to say, having exhausted all these ways of tempting him, the devil left him to return at the appointed time. That appointed time was when Jesus was to be crucified, perhaps the time when he was most vulnerable to attack. So for Jesus, so for us, that even when we do succeed in resisting Satan's attacks, it's not the end of the story. For Satan will surely return at another time to try again, a time when we may very well be most vulnerable. So now and then, let us continue to stand up to him strong in faith.